It's Saturdays with Bill and Dave on KINA. Here are your hosts, Bill Ray and Dave Ford.
We have the, what is it? How many years have we been doing this? The Kansas Storytelling Festival is April 28th and 29th at Downs, Kansas. Did I make a mistake? Oh, it says, okay, it's April 27th and 28th.
Yeah, he made the poster. He wants to make sure everybody knows it.
It's nice poster. Okay, Michael and Brenda Gutierrez with us. Good morning, folks. How you doing here?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, you want to talk about the festival or Facebook? Which?
Facebook.
Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do Facebook first. Michael, are you on Facebook?
No, I'm not on Facebook.
Okay, thanks for the conversation.
Okay.
All right, Brenda.
I'm on Facebook and I want off of it. That we could do a show about that.
This could lead up to a Tall Tales contest in October up in Downs. We have a Tall Tales contest, so this could lead into some potential stories for that.
That before it was known as Tall Tales, wasn't it the Big Liars contest?
There's also, yes, several states do have a Big Liars contest, and in fact, one of the state winners is going to be coming to Downs this year.
Oh, cool. All right. The Kansas Storytellers Festival. Now,
Forget Facebook. We'll get to that.
Yeah, forget Facebook.
More on that later.
I'd like to forget it. Go ahead.
But this will take place in Downs, and is this just storytellers from Kansas or stories about Kansas? Is it a competition amongst the participants, or how's this actually work, Brenda?
A little bit of everything that you just said.
Okay.
Yes. There are the Tall Tales contests. That's in October, and those 4 winners from that come to the Tall Tales Kansas storytelling contest, and the coveted prize is a shovel, if you can imagine why there's a shovel. So that's one of the things that's going on Friday night. Yeah. So with the 25th anniversary this year, we have 5 professionals coming, 5 professional storytellers, and they have traveled the world. So there will be some big names here this year.
Okay, like who?
Like who? We have Andy Irwin, Kim Wetcamp, Bill Lepp, Pippa White, and Dina Odell.
Okay.
How do you get that job? How do you become a professional storyteller? I love it.
Is this in the storytelling in the tradition of Mark Twain?
Yes and no. There's this.
She has great answers. Yes and no.
There's a variety.
We didn't put you under oath before you started, Brenda. I mean, it's okay to give us a straight answer.
Well, it's Tall Tales. It's storytelling. The historical portrayals, Michael will tell about that. That's folks from Osborne County.
Okay.
So that's total truth. Now, some of the Tall Tales, they might make it up a little bit. They might ad-lib based on who's in the audience. The first 3 that I named, Andy, Kim, and Bill, they work together. So they just kind of look at the audience, walk around during the shows, and pull the audience into the stories.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
It's more live as it happens. Last year,
kind of an improv thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
And then there's also the part for the children, and they had a children's workshop last month, so they actually have a session that's just for the kids.
Okay.
So their imaginations, what they might be as
25 years this has been going on up and downs. Right?
Yes.
Up and downs.
Up and downs, yep. The Memorial Hall is the main location, so if people know where the Memorial Hall is, that's where we have our ticket sales, and that's where we have our big shows.
How did you get involved in it? How did you and Michael both get involved in it? Are you a storyteller, or is Mike?
Michael?
No, I am not a storyteller. I got involved just by doing all the promotional material for the festival. That was my expertise, so that's what I did for the festival. Just put together their brochures and posters. We got table tents, and there's ads online and ads in local newspapers, things like that.
And on social media.
Yeah, social media too.
Actually, our niece is
Can't get away from it.
Our niece is a storyteller. About 4 years ago, our niece Leonie started doing storytelling as a young person, and we went to cheer her on, and that's how we got it involved. And also, Downs is my hometown, and that's true to my heart. How we can keep some of these small towns thriving.
Right.
So we're very interested in helping with that.
Well, the Downs Arts Council is hosting and presenting the the festival. And, okay, that's your hometown, Brenda. So
Yes.
what do they do? The Arts Council year-round? What's going on?
They do have some things going on year-round, different things around the Downs celebration, and then they help sponsor events at the Downs Memorial Hall. We have community plays, local plays. They bring in a lot of arts and entertainment in the way of music.
Well, Michael, what do we need to know for people who haven't got a clue what the storytelling festival is? You would think, oh yeah, they tell stories, but there's more to it than that.
Well, actually, it's not too much more than that. That's really what you're doing. You're get to listen to storytellers tell stories, and some of them are funny, and some of them are not funny. They're just stories, interesting stories. But you get to listen a half a day on Friday and all day on Saturday, and it's just quite a variety. We can't stress enough the variety of stories that are told. Brenda had mentioned earlier about local legends. These are local residents that reenact local legends from the area, and that they will dress in period clothing. And these stories are they're sort of historical life stories of these individuals. And I'll name a few of these that we have on hand. One of them is a Howard Herman Rood, and he was just an early Osborne County homesteader. And then we have Jesse Buffalo Jones, and he was a frontiersman and wildlife preservationist. Then we have, this is kind of interesting, we have Elsie Reasoner Ralph, and she was actually America's first female war correspondent. And then we have Sarah Jane, and this is a tribute to women and girls who homesteaded the prairies.
That's you remember from our times with the shows on the go, Dave. Would go to Lincoln, and there was a lady up there that would do the Mary Todd Lincoln reenactment.
Lincoln
it's kind of
Festival,
like that a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we also have workshops, and so workshops not just for the kids, but also for adults. If you want to hone your storytelling skills or want to know more about how do I become a storyteller, we have workshops that allow you to do that, so you can learn how to do that yourself.
And you can get, I'll just read this off. The Kansas Storytelling Festival offers a 1 graduate hour of college credit to certified teachers and librarians through Friends University. So there, for people who are interested in that. Right?
Is there's not a college degree in storytelling, is there? I mean,
Maybe in the right part of the state or the right part of the country there might be.
yeah.
But if you think of people that do anything in the theater or the arts, and also we all have such different learning styles, that's part of the benefit of doing that with Friends University for this education opportunity. They learn some of the different styles that actually participate, they write, they practice, they work with each other, working on things that are curriculum-based, depending on the age of the class that they teach. They could take that into any age of classroom.
How many years have you two actually been associated with the festival?
Recently 2 years, and about 12 years ago I helped off and on. Okay. And I do remember thinking about the weather. One time my dad wore his farmer overalls to help be an announcer. It was really cold off and on. Last year was beautiful, so you just never know, that kind of thing.
So have you, are you familiar personally with any of these people that will be here storytelling this year?
The ones that not the headliners.
Not the
I
headliners.
haven't heard of the headliners.
Okay.
Because they're from all over the country.
Right.
I mean,
Seems like I've heard of Pippa White. That name seems to ring a bell, and I don't know why. Again, she's not from around here. But anyway.
She has some connections in Nebraska. She's worked, so you might have heard her, Nebraska not being too far from here. Yeah.
Okay.
For that.
All right. The festival, April 27th and 28th at Downs, 25th anniversary of the Storytelling Festival, and we will be back after this. Well, Downs is the place for the 25th anniversary of the Kansas Storytelling Festival. And we were talking during the break here, Brenda, you can take it from here. There are other activities going on besides just sitting and listening to somebody tell stories, right?
Yes, I would like to highlight one of the ones I went to last year that was the most fun. If you want to stay up late, starting at 9:15, there's actually ghost stories. And this year, Kim's going to be doing the ghost stories, and they're very entertaining. It's after dark, it's cool and crisp outside, so that's a fun late night activity if people are up for that.
Ghost stories.
Yes, right. And recommended not necessarily for youth under the age of 12, because sometimes they can get kind of, maybe a little scary.
Yeah, that's what ghost stories are supposed to be.
That's what I've heard. They're supposed to be. Yeah.
Well, and also there are as I understand it, many people who will go to the both days of the festival, and there are it's a whole list of accommodations, motels, hotels, restaurants, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of the places to eat in Downs. In addition to having a food court at the Memorial Hall, our local restaurants are going to be all geared up. And if they want to eat breakfast with the storytellers, that's on Saturday morning. You actually get to visit with each one of the storytellers over breakfast at the church.
All right. And what can you buy tickets in advance?
Yes, if you want to go online to our Kansas Storytelling webpage, you can order your tickets or your buttons online.
And how much are they?
The prices vary, $21 for all days down to about $6 for kids. So there's different prices if you just want to do one day or just want to do maybe the headliner in the evening, and then different ages, student prices too.
Is it broke out if I just want to go to a workshop? Is it broke out that way?
It would be a day ticket.
A day ticket, okay.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
there are some of those things, like you mentioned, the workshop. We have what's called the Master Storyteller Circle, also Swap and Grounds. So if you go to, say, one of the workshops, then you can go watch other people, and then you can have the opportunity to practice your story in front of a friendly crowd, a smaller crowd of maybe 20 as compared to maybe a crowd of 200 to help you get started.
So we can have amateur storytelling too.
It's kind of like an open mic thing then.
Yes, I'm thinking you two might be interested. Maybe you guys could come up to Downs in a couple of weekends.
So I was going to ask that. They're open mic. That's
Yeah.
that's a good way. Are there times when people can just come up, Michael, and say, "Okay, you tell your story," and then you sit down and he'll tell his story, or how does that work?
They do. They do kind of that circle at a couple of different times at a couple of different locations. For people that maybe want to practice their story, there are those opportunities. Also for students, there's a special time just for students to practice their stories.
Is there a class on or a workshop rather on writing? Because I would assume that that's a big part of storytelling. You've got to have a premise for it, and then you've got to kind of lay it out. Obviously, you're not going to be delivering it, I wouldn't think, from cue cards or a script. So, I mean, is there's something along that lines that tell you how to format a story?
Exactly. Creating Tall Tales workshop. There are a couple of those throughout the sessions.
Okay.
Yes.
Creating tall tales.
And if you don't want an audience, we have what's called a story shed. And this is basically
Go out back.
We're going to send you out to the woodshed.
exactly. We don't want to see you or hear you or smell you. And so you go into this story shed, and it's a sound booth is what it is. And you can actually record your story, and then that gets uploaded to a national archive. And then anybody can then go and download that story at any time.
So you better be sure you want to have it downloaded all over the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be on Facebook, but it would be going viral.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
So this is all, like we say, it's been going on for 25 years, and people who might think, yeah, okay, it's storytelling, whatever. There's a lot of folks show up for this every year. This is quite an event for Downs.
Yes, I mean, if you think about over 25 years, another feature is with Smoky Hill Education Service Center, at least one of the storytellers goes to schools in the area, and Monday through Friday they're telling stories at schools through the area. So some of those kids would be old enough now to come back to the Storytelling Festival.
Right. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if it weren't for our volunteers and our sponsors, this wouldn't be possible. So to have all these storytellers and all the out-of-town guests come for the day or come overnight, it's a great opportunity, and we invite everybody to come up to Downs.
You've kind of, I don't want to call them corporate sponsors, but you've got some folks that are helping with this.
Well, in addition to the Downs Arts Council, the Dangy Hansen Foundation helped us a lot, Next Tech, and then our local businesses and the retails. Pretty amazing, the folks in Osborne, Mitchell County, the surrounding counties that have added support to make this happen.
Is there a danger of storytelling going by the wayside? Is it as prevalent as it used to be? I mean, with all of the modes of entertainment we have now, do people really gravitate towards telling stories, either getting themselves involved or wanting to hear the stories?
I say it's still very popular, and because you mentioned like open mic nights, poetry reading, through song. There's so many different avenues now, and I could FaceTime and watch my niece do her storytelling in her storytelling contest.
Oh.
So the ability to see, I didn't have to be in Downs one time. You guys could watch it from wherever, or share with your friends and relatives across the U.S. or wherever your kids might be. So that opportunity is out there, I think, from the young to the mature.
And that's
mature.
one of the, okay. And that's one of the motivations behind the Story Shed, the fact
I
that
love that, the story shed. I think that's great.
that some of these stories are disappearing with the folks that tell them. So that by giving them an opportunity to actually have this story recorded for posterity. I mean, these stories will last forever on this National Archive, and they can be downloaded at any time for many years to come. So that's one of the motivations behind that Story Shed, is to have these stories recorded for posterity.
Well,
So
when you mention
disappear.
some of the stories that are going to be told about the individuals the stories will be told on, I hadn't heard of any of them. You know, not a one of them. You know, and I'm a lifelong Kansan, and I would assume that these are all Kansas people.
Yes, and again, local. So again, local to the area of Downs.
Okay,
Yeah, and that could be why they're.
so it's a way to learn the history, not only the story, but the history of the Downs area.
Right.
I think it's fine to listen to their stories and all, but you've mentioned the fact that the storytellers are available to just kind of sit and talk. And that would be, I think, very educational for someone, whether you're a student or just you want to hear about the area, the state, things like that.
The historic portrayals that Michael was talking about, the folks that reenact this, they take it very seriously. They're reading the books, they're reading all the information, getting their costumes together, and they mix it up every year, so it's a different topics.
And one of the things that's amazing to me is, again, this has been going on for 25 years, and I went for the first time 2 years ago, or last year. Last year was my first time to go after 25 years, and I was just blown away. I had no idea what to expect, but the level of emotion that comes with these stories is just not like me talking right now. There's huge swings and emotions that go with these stories. I mean, these tellers will be crying, and then a paragraph later they'll be laughing. It's just a wide range of emotions when they tell these stories, and they're just so captivating. I was just blown away. I had no idea what to expect.
Put a lot into it, a lot of emotion into it.
Well, like we say, these are professional storytellers. I mean, this
Unless you're in the shed.
is what, unless you're out in the
Unless you're in the
shed, and
shed,
who
yeah.
knows what. But no, these folks, this is what they do for a living.
Yeah, and they really engage the audience. I would add to that the students that come on Friday afternoon, Wakanda brings in their students, and over half the kids are up moving around helping tell part of the story. One side of the room is telling one part of the story. Another side of the room, the younger kids have a part in the story. So the professional storytellers really engage the audience, in addition to with the emotion that they're going through with the stories as they are in Downs.
With the interactive there, it's making the audience part of the story telling. Would probably ingrain that story more. It would have more of an educational aspect to it than just listening to the story.
Yes. You see the little kids flexing their arms, and one side out cheering the other side, and then they're out stomping the other side, whatever the emotion of the story is. So I think that really is a good example of it. Helps them remember.
That's part of what the being a professional, as I understand it, storyteller is all about, is not just standing up there telling your story and then you go sit down and have a cup of coffee. Get the audience involved, and they're good at that.
Yes, they are very good at that. And some of our photos, when we were looking back, you could see people's eyes were so squinted, or they had tears in their eyes from laughing so hard. It's wonderful.
And it doesn't have to end after the festival. All these performers, we have a resource table, so all these performers have multiple CDs that are available to purchase, so you can take their stories home with you.
That's what I was going to ask, if they had books or audio tapes.
Or you can go to the shed and make your own.
Yeah.
You can even get a souvenir T-shirt. So if you want a Kansas Storytelling T-shirt, you can get a souvenir T-shirt.
Wow. So this is kind of, to my way of thinking, this is kind of like the Walnut Valley Bluegrass Festival. I mean, along that same vein, it's something that used to be real prevalent before all of the other entertainment facets became available that were supposed to be so great for us. But this is kind of taking a step back into a simpler time when this is the way people got their entertainment. There wasn't radio, there wasn't TV, there wasn't computers or motion pictures. This is the way you entertained people.
And you can really be up close to the storytellers. The fact that there are 5 this year, 5 professionals, and we're going to have 5 locations. So not all are on the big stage with 200 in the audience. You could be in an audience with 30, or you could be in an audience with 10 or 15. So you have those choices throughout the day, and all the locations are within walking distance on Morgan Avenue and Downs.
When does this begin time-wise? Like on the 27th, if you want to take in the whole thing. Let's see, what do we got?
Well, if you want to, yep, go ahead. Memorial Hall. If you want to get your registration
12:30.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
At Memorial Hall, opening ceremony is registration 12:30. Read it, Dave. It's right in front of you. 1:30 p.m. is when things really get rolling. Registration at 12:30. There we go.
That's a lively one because it has lots of students, so that's a fun one to come to.
Is there any aspect of the Storytelling Festival that we haven't touched on that you'd like to make
Aside
sure
from
we
the
get
shed.
the word out? Yeah. We spend an awful lot of time in the shed.
I think that shed's going to be real popular this year.
Yeah. Is it accessible? I'd spend most of my
Yes.
time there. I'm
Yes,
sure.
it is accessible.
Spend a lot of time in the shed, don't you?
Yeah, I could tell stories about Dave.
And that's open the entire time during the festival.
Okay.
Yep,
Well,
anytime.
It's just amazing. Like Michael and I are involved this year. Over time, as with anything that we are involved with in Salina, the volunteers make it happen. So a shout out to the committee. As we ebb and flow, different people come on the committee, or a change in what do we need? Let's jump in. And really kudos to the volunteers and all the subcommittee members who are helping, and the volunteers from Downs and the area around there that make it happen, because we have volunteers do all the announcing, all the emceeing, the baking of the cakes and the cookies for the dessert bars, for the fundraisers. There's lots of great food.
Did you hear that, Bill? Cakes and cookies.
I heard
Yeah.
cakes and cookies.
Oh, I just one more thing I wanted to mention, that we also have group rates available. So if you have a party of 10 or more, you can get a group rate. And if you have a pencil or pen handy, there's probably information on the website, but we have a contact of Glennis Doan, and she's our festival chair, and you would just contact her, and her number is 785-454-6648.
Or you can go online. I like this. This is a website that even I can remember. KansasStorytelling.com. I can remember that.
You can remember that.
Some
Pretty
of the
straightforward.
websites. Who put some of these websites together?
This would be great for some of the retirement communities here in town. Presbyterian Manor, Brookdale. They've all got the transportation. Be a great way for their patrons, their clients, to come up and enjoy a full day of activity, a day and a half.
Day and a half, and if they wanted to come for the day, or even like the Red Hat ladies, if there are groups that like to get together, come enjoy some great stories, eat lunch out, and then head back home after the evening performance, we'd love to have them come.
All right.
Okay, hope you have better weather
Yes.
when you get around to getting this going at the 27th and the 28th in Downs. Again, the website, KansasStorytelling.com. Thank you guys for
Thank
coming
you.
up. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good
All right.
luck.